Greetings, adventurers. This is DM Kurt. A little while ago, I was listening to one of OGGM's videos, and he was talking about encounter tables. Okay, so I may be using encounter tables wrong. He didn't say that I was using them wrong. I'm saying that I may be using them wrong. So, back in the old days, back when dinosaurs ruled the earth and we were playing first edition D&D, a lot of encounter tables were done with percentile dice, 1 to 100. And a very rare or unique creature might be listed on your encounter table with a 1 chance. You only get this creature on an encounter table if you roll this very rare or unique creature on like a 0-1 or 0-0. And a rare creature, you might get that one on 0-2 and 0-3. A uncommon on 0-4, 5, or 6. Or 97, 98, 99. 3%. And then a common creature would be maybe 4 or 5% chance on that same D100 table. So your table goes kind of bell curve from the rare things to the very common things. You'd have a much greater chance of encountering a herd of antelope or a half a dozen peasants going about their day than you would specifically encountering the lich or the dragon. And this helped, keep some semblance of order in your campaign. Is like, okay, this makes sense in a world that there's going to be a lot more common things than uncommon things, and you're going to be running about them as such. For my current game, I have 2 sets of encounter tables I'm using. And one of them is basically just a list of what creatures are in any given area. There's one for the forest, one for the mountains, one for the desert. Okay. But I just made it a 1 through 10 list. And if I were to roll 1d10, there would be equal chances of you running into a pack of jackals or the one dragon that's in that particular area. That's not quite right. Okay. I should probably fix this and assign it some sort of a bell curve. I could use 3d6, which is a famous, bell curve of all bell curves. The first edition AD&D DM's guide in the front tells you all about bell curve distribution. Fascinating little piece of math to help people really understand what die rolls do. But, my second set of encounter tables, I basically copy and pasted out of Twilight 2000. I find it really interesting. Twilight 2000 allows you basically to use a deck of cards as your random number generator. So just draw a card and, ace through king. Whoever drew a card for initiative, well, guy who got an ace or a 2 goes first. Guy who got a jack, he's got to wait a little bit. That's how initiative works. Well, their random encounter table is based on a 52 card deck. And so, some of the lower numbers might be weather or animals. Some of the mid-level cards might be, just a handful of civilians. I think 6 is like a pack of hunters, people are out hunting for food. It's based on post-apocalyptic. We're in World War III. Nuclear weapons were thrown about, and it's in Europe. So you're away from home, and, there's radioactive stuff all around, and soldiers and normal civilians having to fight for their lives. The bad guys are the Russians. Well, I copy-pasted this. And I just removed the Russians and the armored personnel carriers and the machine guns and put in fantasy things. But what was interesting is, while a 3 might always be an animal, and a 1 might always be weather, and a 6 might be hunters, etc., etc., in the Twilight 2000 system, if you draw a heart, then the motivation of the encounter, if applicable, is somehow wanting companionship, friendship, or merge together of units. Like, for example, a 3 of hearts is, a stray animal, a dog, that if you feed it, it becomes a loyal companion. Or a set of hunters that are like willing to maybe exchange some of the meat that they just procured by hunting for maybe some equipment, maybe do a little barter. Diamonds is wealth. Okay, so where applicable, wealth is the motivator. It might be a group of friendly soldiers on your same team or same nation who wander across you, and they're like, "Hey guys, if you have any extra supplies, we got a little bit we could trade, do a little barter action. What do you got? What do you want? Let's make this happen." Clubs, violence. The 3 of clubs is still a wild animal, but it's rabid and wants to attack you. The Jack of clubs is a squad of enemy soldiers. They want to, shoot to kill, etc. I thought that was interesting. Now, what I'm doing with my random encounter tables is I'm filling them out, I'm creating them, and I'm just putting them in my little prep notebook. If I have to have an encounter on the fly, I can just fling the notebook open, draw a card out of a pack of cards I'll have handy, or throw a die, whatever, and adjudicate from there. But what I'm trying to do is just select or roll a few things in advance. So I am prepared for my next session. I rolled on my tables what the encounters would be. And then, as you should, I picked and chose. To be grammatically correct there. I picked and chose which ones I would want to do in what order. And there are a couple of things in my various tables where they are a one-time thing. You're only going to meet this one particular NPC once. You're only going to meet this one particular creature once. And if you kill it, there are no more in the area. Okay. But I think it's important when you're rolling these random encounters to adjudicate appropriately. You can say, I'm not ready for the PCs to meet this thing, and you just skip it and go on to the next. You create these tables to help you, not to control you. Okay? They are a tool, not a master. Anyway, that's kind of where I am on random encounter tables. Make them, use them, but also, one more thing. I'm rolling these things in advance. I'm also planning some encounters in advance. If you roll for a random encounter at the table where your players are at, they will know that this encounter was rolled for. It was random. It is not necessarily tied to the greater plot line of what's going on. If you roll and then you say, okay, well, 5 orcs show up, they're going to be pretty sure that those orcs aren't working for the bad guy that they're chasing down and the bad guy sent them. They're going to think, their assumption is most likely going to be, oh, well, he just rolled these. This is just a time waster combat. This is just grind for XP, and it doesn't really matter. So what you might want to do, and what I recommend is don't roll in front of the players for these encounters. Because some of the encounters that they're going to deal with in your game world are tied to the mission that they're on. A mission you may have presented them, or a mission they may have just kind of come up with as, hey, I think we ought to do X. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with random encounter tables. DM Kurt, out.